Hello, welcome to Roussel Reads. I'm Deja, and today we are going to wrap up the 2024 Reddit Fantasy Bingo Challenge. If you have not heard about this challenge before, this is a challenge that happens every year on Reddit. It starts in April and goes until the end of March of the following year. Today, like I said, I will be going through the 2024 version of this challenge. And so I will tell you the prompts and the books that I chose for those prompts. It is also worth mentioning that they have the standard level of the prompt, but then they also have a hard mode, and that is just an additional prompt that you need to complete the hard mode of it. This is my second year doing this challenge, and it has been pretty fun just seeing like how the books that I read fit into the prompts. I don't really do a TBR. I just have these prompts in mind, and then whatever fits, I choose a book for that prompt. Last year, I said that I wanted to get to at least 80% completion, and I am happy to say that I actually did that. I wasn't sure that I would actually be able to because some of the prompts were very specific and not things that I would typically pick up. And I think that a few of those prompts, like I still didn't pick up anything for them, but the fact that I did reach my goal of at least 80%, I am very happy with that. I actually got 84% of the prompts completed. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. The first prompt was, of course, like one of the easiest, and that is a first in the series. The hard mode of this one is the series has to be longer than 3 books. The book that I chose for this one is Celestial Bodies. You may have watched my romantasy video and saw that I read this one. Didn't really like it that much, but it completes this prompt. I don't think that it fulfills the series being longer than 3 books because, as far as I know, there aren't any more books in the series out yet, and so I'm not exactly sure how long it will be. So maybe in the future it could like complete this prompt, but for now, I'm just going to say that I just completed the standard level prompt of this one. The next prompt is an alliterative title. For this prompt, they wanted us to read a book that has 2 words that start with the same letter. The hard mode of this challenge is that it's 3 words that start with the same letter. And this one I chose Sing Me to Sleep. Obviously, I did not get the hard mode of this one because there's only 2 words that start with the same letter in this title, but I did complete it. So I'm counting that as one. Sing Me to Sleep was definitely a decent book. Really, the only thing that like gave me like pause about this book is that like it's a teenager being a siren and seducing people, which just with the whole history of like black girls and like just that kind of dynamic, it kind of just turned me off a little bit from the book, but it was okay overall. And if you haven't read it, I would say check it out. The third prompt for this challenge was Under the Surface. And for this one, you really just want to read a book that is set underground or underwater. And for the hard mode of this one, majority of the book has to take place underground or underwater. For this one, I chose Lost Ark Dreaming. For this book, they have an entire society that is underwater, and it's really like structured by like class. So all of like the lower classes are really the ones that are like underwater pretty much, and then of course as you get like higher, you get a higher social class. So this one definitely fulfills that prompt. I did enjoy this one. I had like a few things with it just in terms of like what I was supposed to get from the story, but overall it was a good story, and yeah, I would say also check this one out if you have not. The next prompt is criminals, and this one, of course, is self-explanatory in that you just want to have a character that is a criminal. This could be an assassin, this could be a thief, this could be any kind of criminal. And the hard mode of this one is that it features a heist. And for this one, I chose the Dead Cattail Assassins. This one does not feature a heist from what I remember. So I think that I just got the regular prompt version of this one, but this one was an okay read for me. I think that P. Djeli Clark is an interesting writer, but so far nothing has been able to like live up to Ring Shout for me or The Black God's Drums. So I don't know. I think he's still a good writer and definitely a writer that you should check out. But yeah, I just was kind of disappointed with the Dead Cattail Assassins. The next prompt is dreams, and that is just reading a book that features dreams, either magical or otherwise. And the hard mode of this is that the dream is not mystical or magical, it's just like a normal kind of dream. For this one, I chose Dreamer by Multimind. I did not like this. I felt confused a lot of the time. And honestly, I think that it just had some structural issues in terms of like story. Like, I just feel like there was like so much going on, but also not a lot going on. So yeah, I would not recommend this one, but other people have enjoyed this one. So I mean, I guess check it out at your own risk, but I do want to try other books by this author because I think that it had like a good idea. I just don't think that the execution was the best, but yeah, I completed it, so it fits this prompt, and that is another one that is marked off for this challenge. The next prompt is entitled Animals, and this one, the title has to include the name of an animal, even if the animal doesn't show up in the book. And the hard mode of this one is that the title mentions like a fantasy or magical creature that is the animal. And so for this one, I chose Ambessa, chosen of the wolf. And obviously, wolf is the animal. The wolf does not show up in the book, from what I remember. But yeah, it fulfills this prompt. Obviously, not the hard mode because a wolf is a real normal animal. This one, I love the arcane world and I especially loved the Medardas. I think that this one had some pacing issues, but overall, I really enjoyed the story and I would highly recommend it. The next one is Bards, and this one is one that I did not think that I would complete because Bards just give me very old fantasy vibes, and I don't really read old classic fantasy. I don't usually like them, so I usually just steer clear of them. But this one is really just focused on like a musician or a storyteller or a poet, and so I was able to complete this one. And the hard mode of this one is that they have to be called a bard, which, like I said, like I'm not reading classic fantasy where they would actually be called this, so did not complete the hard mode. But the regular prompt for this, I chose Daughter of the Moon Goddess. The main character in this book, like she plays, it's either a flute or a harp. I don't remember. The main character in this book is a musician, so definitely fulfills this prompt. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, I was kind of actually really disappointed. It was on a 5-star prediction for me, and I did not like it. I feel like the main character, not only is she a musician, but she's also very good at like battle things and stuff like that. Like, I just feel like she was just a little too good at everything, and there was just like no tension in this book. Like, I just had the feeling that everything was gonna be fine, and everything was fine. So, I mean, it was fine. It was fine, but not what I wanted. The eighth prompt is prologue and epilogue, and the prompt for this one is that it either has to have a prologue or a epilogue, and the hard mode is that it has both. So what I chose for this one is Isle of Blood and Stone. I think that this just fulfills the regular prompt for this. I don't remember if this actually has an epilogue, but I know it has prologue. So it definitely fulfills this one. This one is a young adult fantasy, and I was actually very surprised by how much I did enjoy it. I feel like this book is exactly what I would want young adult fantasy to be. Like, I feel like it had strong fantasy elements. I also think that it showed the teen characters having like agency to like do things without like being stupid. And then they also had the adult characters still around them, because I think a lot of young adult novels, they make all of the adults like absent, which is not realistic. But this one I think is very like strong in those fantasy elements. There's even like a strong like little romantic little thread that's not like overtaking the plot. So yeah, this one was a very strong fantasy read for me. So definitely recommend this one if you have not read it already. The next one is a self-published or indie book. And of course, this one is just a self-published book or published by an indie publisher. And the hard mode of this one is that it has less than 100 ratings. The book that I chose for this is Savage City by L. Penelope. This one I did not get the hard mode of because it has like 355 ratings on Goodreads. So more popular than I thought it would actually be. But this one, I thought it was fine. I think that El Penelope is another author that like I just kind of had mid like reactions to a lot of their books now. Like there's always something about their books that I just don't like. And this one, I just could not vibe with the world. It follows a character that wakes up in a new world. She doesn't necessarily have memory issues, but she looks very identical to this like princess that has gone missing. And so she's basically pretending to be this princess. And it has annual companions and just I don't know, just some of the things with like the world, like it just was not vibing with me. I didn't really connect with any of the characters either, and I feel like their romance was also just very rushed. Like I just didn't believe in their romance, which most of the time in El Penelope books, I don't really believe in their romances at all. There was only one exception, which I think is a book that I will talk about later in this video, but yeah, overall it was okay, but I don't think that El Penelope is really the author for me. The next prompt of this one is a romantasy, and this one, it of course the main plot has to be the romance, and the hard mode of this one is that it has an LGBTQIA main character. This one I chose That Time I Got Drunk and Saved the Demon. I don't think that this fulfills the hard mode of this one. I'm pretty sure both characters are just straight, but this one, of course, a lot of people have read this, but if you have not, it follows this girl named Cinnamon who basically has to help this demon defeat this like witch, and of course, along the way, they fall in love. This one I would say is not really for like the fantasy fans that want to try like romance. This one I would say is for the romance reader that just want like a dash of fantasy in their books. It was still good. It was okay. The next prompt I did not actually complete, and that was Dark Academia. And of course, this just means that it gives that Dark Academia aesthetic of where it has the university or school, it has secret societies and all the other stuff. And the hard mode of this one is that the school is actually really mundane. There's like nothing magical happening with the actual school. Like I said, this one I did not actually complete. And then another easy prompt was just multi-point of view. This one says that you have to have a book with at least 3 points of view, and the hard mode of this one is that it has at least 5. This one I chose Black Sun. It fulfills just the regular prompt of this one, not quite the hard mode of this one. I love Black Sun. It was one of the strongest fantasies that I've read in a long time, and I still have yet to read the sequels of this one, but I have not heard like the best things, so I've just been like putting it off and putting off actually the buddy read that I'm supposed to be doing with this, which I keep failing to do, but I do want to continue the series just to see like where it goes, because I love Black Sun so much. And if you have not read it, like I don't know what you're doing. Like read it, because Black Sun was amazing. The next one is a book published in 2024, and the hard mode of this one is that it is also the author's debut. The book that I chose for this one is Blood at the Root, which obviously meets the hard mode of this one because this is the author's debut, and this one was a very controversial book. Like, a lot of people either really liked it or they just really hated it. And I feel like I'm in the middle. I do not think that this was a very strong book. Like, I don't think it was terrible, but I'm also like, it wasn't strong enough for me to want to complete the sequel. And a lot of people have been like talking about like just the representation of like women and girls in this book, and I don't really see it. I mean, like some of it made me like uncomfortable just to read like a perspective of a teen boy being like twerked on and stuff, but like I mean, it was a teen boy, and I think that I don't know, it was okay. I don't think that the fantasy elements were that strong. Like I think that a lot of the fantasy elements, like it just felt like the plot needed to happen. Like I'm thinking specifically, like he jumped through a phone through magic. I don't know what in the magical realm allowed him to do that, but okay. But it was fine. I mean, it was fine. The next prompt is a character with a disability. And this one, it just wants to have an important character that has a physical or mental disability. And the hard mode is that the main character has a physical or mental disability. For this one, I chose The Truth of the Aleke, which was one of my favorite novellas of the last year. And this one, the main character actually has like one of his arms like cut off. So I'm pretty sure he only has like one arm. And so definitely a physical disability. And so this one, since he is the main character, it fulfills the hard mode. This one, like I said, was one of my favorite novellas of the last year. I think that the ending like really like gosh, I just really love when like there's endings like that, which of course I won't like tell you like what happens, but like it made me so excited for the next book in the trilogy, the last one, and I have an arc of it and I'm so excited to get to it because yeah, I gave that novella like 5 stars because I loved it so much. The next prompt is a book published in the 1990s, but the hard mode of this one is that the author has also published a book in the last 5 years. This one I did not complete. I was going to try Brown Girl in the Ring, but I just never got around to it. The next prompt is Orcs, Trolls, and Goblins. Oh my. And of course, this one is just reading a book that features orcs, trolls, and goblins. The hard mode is that one of those are the main character. I did not complete this one. Those creatures don't really call to me, and there's like really nothing that I wanted to read. I was going to try The Orc Prince by Quad Hudson, but I'm kind of over romance at the moment, so I was like, I'm not going to read that. So the next prompt is space opera, and this one, of course, is just reading a book with a large cast of characters that focus on the social dynamics that can be political or personal in nature. And the hard mode of this one is that it's written by a marginalized gender identity, so either women, trans people, or non binary people. And the book that I chose for this one is Death Among the Stars. But this one, of course, fulfills the regular prompt and the hard mode of this one because C.M. Lockhart is a woman. So this one I have not reviewed yet, but I will have an upcoming review. But overall, I think that this was a good start to a story, but I did have trouble with like the pacing of this one, either feeling too slow or too fast. But overall, it was fine. The next prompt is a book by an author of color. And of course, this one is another self explanatory prompt where the author just has to be of color. The hard mode of this one is that it has to be a debut published in the last 5 years. And for this prompt, I chose Countess by Susan Palumbo. I'm not sure how to pronounce their name, but they are a Trinidadian author, so definitely author of color. This one is a sci-fi with like strong anti-colonial themes. It really gave me like Haitian Revolution like vibes, especially with like some of like the names. Like they mentioned like Toussaint Louverture. This one follows a woman that has been a part of this oppressive system in order to like try to give her family like a better life. But then something goes wrong and she actually ends up imprisoned, and the story goes on from there. This one is just a novella, and I did think that this was a strong anti-colonial book. Like, I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed like seeing the Sapphic relationship, and I really enjoyed seeing her get into this like anti-colonial mindset, especially after working in that system for so long. But the ending was very disappointing. That's all I will say about that. I still think that it's worth picking up, but I'm curious to see what the author writes again, because this was their debut, so I think that they are a strong writer. But yeah, just very disappointed with that ending. The next prompt is a book about survival. And this one, the primary goal just has to be about the characters trying to survive in the world. This could be like an apocalyptic setting. This could be about like surviving a virus, or it could even just be about surviving high school. The hard mode of this one is that it is not including a super virus or pandemic. The book that I chose for this one is Confetti Realms. In this one, it might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think that they are trying to survive. Basically, these characters end up going to a graveyard, which, great start, but they end up going to this graveyard and they get transported to this other world where basically it's not really like fight to the death survive, but it is like they have to collect these teeth in order to go back home. And I do think that, again, this might be a little bit of a stretch, but like there's a strong emotional part of this story where like they are really like dealing with like relationship issues. One character is just trying to survive and like just the way that they want to be alive, basically. And so I think that counts. It's a very emotional read that I would say check like content warnings for, but I did really enjoy this one. The next prompt is to judge a book by its cover. And of course, that just means choose a book that because you like the cover. And the hard mode is don't read the blurb. And this one, I chose The Sun and the Void. I really like this cover. I don't know what it is about like these like shapes and stuff that I really like, but I really just enjoyed like seeing this cover. I don't remember reading the blurb before I picked this up, but honestly, I probably did. So I did not complete the hard mode of this one, but I did complete the regular version of this one. And this one I did enjoy. I think that it had a few pacing issues, but like I really enjoyed being with like the characters. I really enjoyed like the world. Like I could definitely see the cultural influences of this one. And I'm very intrigued to see where the second book goes, especially after the ending of the first book. We are almost done. I have like 4 more, I think, to go. I'm on prompt 21. And so this one is a book that is set in a small town. The hard part of this one is that it has to be in our world and not a secondary world. Like the town can be made up, but it still has to be in our world. So the book that I chose for this one was another Penelope book, and this one is Daughter of the Merciful. This one does fulfill the hard mode of this one. This does take place in our world, even though I think that the actual town is fictional. But I will say that the town was inspired by a real town because the author was really inspired by sunken black towns. Like there's like a history of basically black towns being like flooded because of X, Y, and Z reason that the government and racism decided to bring up. This one I did not like as much. I did like it more than Savage City. But like I said, there's always something about El Penelope's books that I do not like. This one is actually one that I did enjoy, like the little bit of romance. It wasn't really like a strong romantic element. I think it was just like a friends lover thing that it was just like cute to see that was there. But I really struggled with like the pacing of this one. I really think that the author did good at setting up this historical town, but like when it came to like incorporating those magical elements, like I do not think that it was done well. And actually the magical part of this story, especially like in the middle when they go towards that magical like setting, I did not like that pretty much at all. And I feel really disappointed because I think that the idea of the story was really good. But again, the execution of the story was just not for me. The next prompt, which is one that they always do every year that I have not been able to complete yet, is reading 5 sci-fi or fantasy short stories. And the hard mode of this one is to read a collection. I have so many short story collections that I need to read. And I was actually, and still am, in the middle of the collection I was planning to read for this one. But I did not complete it. I wanted to. I really did. Because, like I said, I have a lot of collections that I want to read. But I did not get to it, unfortunately. Prompt 23 is Eldritch Creatures. I hope I pronounced that right. I've never actually heard of this, but these are basically creatures that are uncanny, unearthly, or just like weird. The hard mode of this one is that it cannot be from Cthulhu culture, I believe that's how you pronounce it. This one, I was struggling to find a book, but even the book that I chose actually does fulfill both prompts. And this book is The World Is Not Yours. This one was another book by Kemi Ashingula that I picked up, and I have mixed thoughts about this one, but it does feature a creature type thing that is very like just weird. And I even like just thinking about it, I'm like, is this actually like a creature? Which I'm like, maybe that is why it like fulfills this prompt, because my human understanding of like what this thing is, like, it's not really like a creature, and it's just kind of weird. Like, it's really just like a liquid, but like it's alive. But yeah, I say it counts. This novella, I liked it, but I had like a few qualms with it. This is another one that I will be reviewing soon, more in depth, but I think that it was an okay novella. The second to last prompt, we are almost done. This one is reference materials, and this is just a book that has either like a map or a glossary or just some kind of reference material. The hard mode of this is that it contains 2 types. And the book that I actually chose for this was Sistah Samurai. And this one I do think fulfills the 2 like modes of reference materials. And this might be a little bit of a stretch, but like in the book there's like a visual glossary that like describes like what like she's wearing, which reference material. There's also a playlist that the author includes, and then in the back of the book there's actually also a list of names for reference, which won't spoil what those names are, but I definitely count it as reference material. So definitely fulfills the hard mode of this one. And so this one I liked, but I also had mixed thoughts about it. I think that it started off strong for me, but then I think I got like a little lost like towards like the middle, towards the end. And I just think that's because like all of the action was happening, and I feel like I just lost a little bit of like the character in it. And I think that the in memoriam that was at the end of the book helped me appreciate the story a little bit more. So yeah, it was a good book that I would say people should check out. And the last prompt, we are there. This prompt is one that they always do every year, and this one is just a book club or read along book. They have a book club or read along that they do. I've never participated, but basically, you just have to read a book that they read for the book club or read along. The hard mode of this one is that it must be a current selection and you have to participate in the discussion. I did not get the hard mode of this one. I just looked basically in the story graph to see like what did they read in the past, and I found a Dowry of Blood, which was one of my favorite books of 2024. I don't have like much to add about like why I love this book, but like just the dark gothic like vampire vibes of this book, I just love it so much. Just like the manipulative nature of vampires, and then even like exploring just domestic like abuse and that manipulation. Like, I don't know why, I just really like dark literature like that, but like this was just very like strong. I really enjoyed it like a lot. So definitely worth a read if you have not. Of course, check content warnings because there's a lot that happens in this book, and it's just like a slow manipulation of it. And man, like the emotions that I had reading that book, and then like it had me staying up like so late, just like thinking about it and wanting to like get back to it. And yeah, I really enjoyed that book. That will wrap up all of the books that I read for the Reddit Fantasy Bingo. Out of the 25 prompts, I did not complete 4 of them. I am very proud of myself for that because I swear I did not think that I would get more than 15 of them, especially because January through March I was in a reading slump, but I did it. I reached the 84%, and I think that for 2025, I'm going to say that my official goal is to do 80% again, but my best goal, if I can do that, will be 100%, which means I will have to read the short story collection and read another book club book. And they have posted the 2025 Reddit Fantasy Bingo. I'm a little hesitant to say 100% again because there are some prompts that I'm just like, am I really going to find a book that I want to read and complete? That is the main thing because DNFs don't count. Am I going to find anything that I want to complete in these prompts? That is a challenge. And the other challenge is that I mostly do BIPOC books. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, especially because I am in my fantasy mood. So I think I'll have a lot to choose from in terms of like what counts for all of these. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very proud of myself. And yeah, if you have done this challenge, I would definitely love to know how you did for the 2024 version. Of course, I will link down the 2025 version down below. And if you plan to participate, I'd love to know that as well. If you don't want to do that, you can also just leave. Let's do a sun emoji for Black Sun that I mentioned. But yeah, I really thank you so much for watching and sticking around while I did like my little hiatus, which I will probably explain in another video. But I really appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed to this channel, and I cannot wait to see you guys again soon. Bye!